and sweet like my bestie. The bestie da la bestie. For a friend like me.
I say, see bestie, wanting to wefty. Find a friend like me.
I don't know about you, but I'm always feeling good when it comes to conversation relating to women. So every Wednesday, we air out our women conversation on the Focal Women Talk. And of course, I am your presenter and your host, Craig Finan Courage Pa. I love to be called Courage. I'm encouraging you to please join this platform on Focal Online TV, where we discuss issues concerning women. We talk about health issues, we talk about career issues, we talk about those challenging things we face in our daily lives as women. Please do not be deterred because you are not a woman at a particular age. Be reminded you can be a girl, you can be a teenager, you can be a woman, and you can still join this conversation. Please join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. where I drill you through with an interesting conversation relating to us women. So please stay with me on Focal Online TV, where we bring you innovation to broadcasting. Thanks for watching. I am your host, Craig Financy Pa, saying have a blessed day.
Okay, a blessing good afternoon to you, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to Focal Online TV and welcome officially to the Focal Women Talk. The song that was played earlier says "Found a Friend Like Me" by Teddy Bear featuring Eric Jizo. So you see, if you find a friend like me, you will find a friend that will help you, that will educate you, that will keep you informed about all of the happenings around us and that of our country at large. So please try to find a friend. To all of the females who are gathering up to come on this show, try to find a friend like me, try to invite someone and invite your bestie. Come and listen to this important and interesting conversation here with your host. And my name is Greg Finan Courage Park. Just call me Courage whenever I am serving as your host or presenter on these platforms. So for today, we're going to be talking about sexual violence. Remember last week we talked about violence. So this week we're going to be talking about sexual violence. And just so you know that last week we talked about violence and we said violence is the behavior involving physical force intended to hunt, damage, or kill someone or something. So it's something that is intentional. Remember, it's a behavior involving physical force intended to hunt or to hurt or damage or kill someone or something. So basically, we're going to be talking about sexual violence today, and it's interesting that females get up here and listen to this conversation and watch this conversation because we face these challenges and we sometimes tend to overlook them when we talk about sexual violence. It's involved with us and we need to watch this. Remember, sexual violence doesn't only relate to us females. Males sometimes they are being sexually abused. So it's in both ways. It can happen to a male, it can happen to a female when it comes to sexual violence. So we take a short break. When we get back, I'll fill you in on this interesting conversation, sexual violence. And of course, I'm excited to say happy ladies night to you because I know you're going to be stepping out of your comfort zone today, going to enjoy yourself. I'm really excited having you here on this platform, the Focal Women Talk. This is a platform where if you are a girl, if you are a female, and if you are a woman, you can join a conversation. Mainly, teenagers can join this conversation because it helps enlighten your minds as it relates to the world that you are facing gradually. So please come up, come online. Let's talk about sexual violence today. And I'm gonna be touching every area. I'm not gonna be leaving anything undone here. Trust me. I'm gonna be talking and I'm gonna be hitting points. So yes, let's take a short break. When we get back, folks, we get back with this interesting conversation, sexual violence. But remember, this is the Focal Women Talk, and of course, I am your host, Breakfina Courage Pa. Just call me Courage for today. Thanks for watching. I'll be right back shortly with this interesting conversation, sexual violence. Still with me, please.
Love.
Fire friend like me, fire friend like me. If you not want betrayal, fire friend like me, fire friend like me, fire friend like me. If you not want betrayal, fire friend like me.
Bombe oh, fire friend let me. Bombe jene oh, fire.
Okay, so folks, welcome back to this important conversation here on the Focal Women Talk. Remember, this is Focal Online TV. If you have not yet followed us, we encourage you to follow our page because we bring you all of these interesting conversation like the daily edition of Inside the Print Media will bring you the Focal Women Talk, Inside the Street Sighting, and a lot more that will always come your way here on Focal Online TV. The reason why we do these things is because Focal TV brings innovation to broadcasting. Well, I don't know about you this Wednesday, but as for me, I feel okay, and I'm saying to you, please step out of your comfort zone, go and chill out today. Today is ladies' night. Free out yourself, but remember to do away with violence as we gear towards our electoral process. So let's talk quickly about sexual violence. If you are watching us, please you can leave a comment in a comment section like you follow it, you can just state your name. And yes, so thanks to Abraham Theodori in us part. He's watching from Coca-Cola factory. Oh, you've been here this morning and you are here again. I love the support. Thank you so much, Abraham Theodori in us part. And so we move straightly to the conversation, sexual violence. So I'm gonna be really explicit when it comes to this conversation today. So let's have this conversation and I want you to learn something from it and give your input. Please share our live stream, invite others. Okay, TC Prince, Sipa, thanks for the show I'm watching from Animal Farm. Thanks so much, Prince. I understand. Thanks for watching. Please continue to share our live stream here on Focal Online TV. So quickly, we will just run to the conversation, sexual violence. And I'm gonna be telling you what is sexual violence if you don't know. So sexual violence is a term we use to describe any sexual activity that happen without consent. Sexual violence is a term we use to describe any sexual activity that involves any sexual activity that happen, any sexual activity that occur without consent. It should meet my consent if violence. So, but in other cases, it isn't a phrase you hear much in daily life. Let me say that. And many people aren't sure what it means. So many people are not sure what it means or if what happened to them counts. So I'm hoping that this information help you to make things clearer as it relates to sexual violence. Remember, sexual violence is any term we use to describe any sexual activity that happen without consent. any sexual activity that happened without consent. If you are a female and partly over the years there have been some sexual activity that went on without your consent, you did not consent to it, it happened. I mean, it's a sexual violence, and it's something that you need to step up for. It's something that you need to step up your game for, because the occurrence of it over and over, it doesn't simplify a good thing, it doesn't show nothing good. So I'm encouraging you that if you are under the sound of my voice and you are watching me, I'm breathing it through this mark, telling you sexual violence is worst. It's something that you need to break your silence for. Anything, any intercourse with your body, anything you have with your body that is used that is causing physical force to be used without your consent sexually, especially as it relates to sexual activity, it is a sexual violence. So sexual violence is any kind of sexual activity or act, mm, including online. So I'm coming to that part that says including online. That is, or that was unwanted or involve one or more of the following. So you see, sometimes we are violated sexually through these social platforms. Yes, we are. So you understand that sexual violence is a term, like I said before, sexual violence is a term we use to describe any sexual activity. So the fact that you are even disguising yourself, you are masturbating yourself, or you have to set your camera to remain yourself and take picture because someone pressure you to do it, is a sexual violence, and it will be talked about earlier. So there are certain things as follow as it relates to sexual violence, right? And I'm gonna be saying that. Remember that sexual violence in some form it includes online, meaning that sometimes it's unwanted or it involves one or more of the following. So the following includes pressure, manipulation, bullying, intimidation, deception, and force. Like I stated earlier, I talked about force, right? So you see the pressure you get from your peers, or the pressure you get from someone who is supporting you. Like, if you don't see me in that video of yourself naked and lying down on a bed, I'm not gonna pay your school fees again, or I'm not gonna do certain things for you. You are being sexually abused. You are being sexually exploited. The reason why I'm saying this is because you shouldn't be pushed against your will. Like, you shouldn't be pressured. You shouldn't be manipulated to do certain things you don't want to do, especially being involved in sexual activities. So that is just it. Even threats, I should say that there are times people threaten people. I get a naked picture, if you don't come to my house for us to have this, or if you don't do XYZ, or if you don't send that if you don't send that video to me, I will post your picture. And you disguise yourself. I mean, threats, intimidation, bullying, even some of those things, they are all issues, or they are all things that involve with sexual violence. So let me say this, there are different types of sexual violence, and they include. So we were looking at our comment section again, taking over. I don't watching from around single. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. And I appreciate you also, all of our viewers in the comment section. Thanks for following. You can drop your comments, and then maybe you can give your input on this interesting conversation. Remember, my name is Greg Finan Courage Par. Just call me Courage when we are talking about these trending issues as it relates to female. Call me by my name, and let's talk about them openly. So there are different types of sexual violence, and they include child sexual abuse, they include sexual assault, they include sexual harassment, they include rape as well. So I'm just gonna be hitting them one by one as a little child sexual abuse. So you see, when an adult or older child scares or manipulates, it tricks or forces a child into taking part in your sexual activities, right? So um this include things like things in contact with sexual activity, and it explains itself, right? So you have the showing of pornographic to children, and it involves a process known as grooming, right? So you see, children are sometimes children sometimes they are sexually abused, and that is a sexual violence. So you see, there are times children are being manipulated to do something. Sometimes you are a parent and you in a house and you having, even in a community, there are other people who are so different. There are other people who you don't, your children don't have to meet with them because their way of thinking is far beyond that child thinking. That's the reason why you ought to watch your children as they grow smoothly, because there are things they see out there that if you are not very careful, or if you are not really, paying attention to them, you sometimes see that their attitude will change and they will get involved into things at the last minute if you are not really careful. So sexual abuse sometimes it involves child or other child's scaring by manipulation. So you see sometimes you see children of age like maybe 13, 14 at that particular age, or maybe a teenager, and then they'll go to school. You see some of their friends will carry pornographic, watching them in school. You see sometimes you see other older people will have they have an intercourse with children, scaring them that if you tell anybody I'm going to kill you, and then all of these things. So you see child abuse is a main factor. It's one of the type of sexual violence that needs to be addressed, that needs to be talked about, because you have to break the silence. It can be your father. Let me tell you, there are men who are being involved with this now, who are abusing boys, and there are men who are abusing little girls. So you see in a home where your little sister is living with you, and you know within yourself that you have this husband or you have this friend who is act, and your little sister walk out and talk to you about it. Do not shout at the child, do not like scare the child, because she's looking for a comfort wherein she feels safe to express these things. So if it is due and it happened, and the first time maybe he made amends and try to threaten her or go in the bathroom and try to play with her, and she walks out to you and say, "Mommy or big sister, this is what he did. Whenever I'm dressing, he always coming in a room and everything." You try to listen to it and you take actions as as soon as possible, because if you don't do that, sometimes it causes a lot of problem and it causes future damage. So you have to step up when it comes to child abuse. Remember, child abuse is another type of sexual violence. Get that straight today. So another thing we're going to be talking about is sexual harassment. The last time we spoke about it, and I'm going to be talking about it again today. Sexual harassment is any unwanted behavior or sexual nature that make a person feel upset, that make a person feel scared or ashamed. That is sexual harassment. So it has to do with any unwanted behavior, and most times these things happen in the workplace. Let me say that these things happen in the workplace, these things happen in our environment, these things happen in our home, these things happen in schools, and even now it happens in churches. Now let me say that, and I stand to be corrected. The world is changing in different dimensions these days. So you see these things that used to happen just being stigmatized to one area is not happening like that anymore. It happening almost all of the different areas. So so when it comes to sexual harassment, it's any unwanted behavior. Like I don't like people touching me. I don't like people touching my breast. It's something I don't like. It's unwanted. Why should you touch me? Isn't it unwanted behavior or sexual nature that make a person feel upset or scared or ashamed? So you see, sometimes in a public place, you see this guy who maybe he knows a girl and two of them are talking, and when he gets into that place, he will like touch her breast or he will like knock her butt. And sometimes because of the environment she found herself in, she tends to be shamed. She like had her breast or something like that. It's embarrassing. It's something that upset people. It's something that scare people. Looking at someone who I look up to as a boss to me, and then he just walk in, and then in front of everybody he like pressing my breast and doing all of those things. And sometimes it create that scene that looks ashamed, and it create that scene that is upsetting and scary. So you see, when sexual harassment is in your is within, you have to like do away with it when you are faced with sexual harassment. Because mind you, all of these local things, let me say local things because it's not local. Do not take it on that range. But all of these things sometimes it lead up to the worst. So if you are able to step up these things, if you are able to break the silence when it happens or when it occurs, then you are able to face it. Then you will be able to like deny the bigger picture that has to do with rape. Because if you can handle sexual harassment, the minute the person, the last time I spoke about it, the minute you tend to be sexually harassed, the first thing you have to do is to consult the person. Remember to keep all of the evidence. Keep all of the evidence, even the screenshots. Sometimes there are people who are naughty. They will send you like a nude pictures. They will send you, this is how I feel about you. Tell me, what are you sleeping in to say? All of these things are sexual harassment. It's unwanted. I don't want it. Why you should send me picture of you being naked or send me a picture of yourself that is indecent? I mean, these are things that you need to post that to, because if you don't post that to sexual harassment, it leads to rape. Yes. If you don't put stop to sexual harassment, it leads to rape. And rape is the bigger picture that people see. But all of these things, as quite them local things, all of these things we see or all of these things we experience sometimes is not something to joke with. Imagine why will a young girl dress so decent and then walk outside or go to church or go somewhere and then a choir director walk to her and touch her breast or knock her butt or do something that is unwanted or do something that is sexually in nature. Why should he do that? So you see, you need to step up. No joking about it. It's my body, and let me tell you, if you are a female, you are watching me. It's my body. I have the right to whosoever that should touch me. So if I tell you, if I dress, am I dressing it's embarrassing you because I dress and I look so nice and you don't want to follow the proper channel. Maybe you try to like you want to take things forcefully or you want to sexually harass me, then we will take another stand. And I don't want you compromising when it comes to these little things. Child sexual abuse, sexual harassment, sexual assault. I don't want you taking it so slow. I want you to step up about it. The first time it happened, you take a stand. The second time it happened, you take a stand. Find your safe comfort zone, keep all of your evidence, and then take a stand about it. Because if you don't, it leads to the bigger picture. So I'll just notify all of my viewers again who are watching. Praise Fatahali, watching from New Georgia Estate. Thanks, darling. Kelly, don't talk about he's always following from the conference room. Today he's not following from his mark. Kelly, don't talk about thank you, Mark Amira, Emmanuel George, watching from Tinker Village. Oh, thanks for watching, Mark. I appreciate you. So yeah, these are the comments in our comment section. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. So then we move over to another part. Why the word violence? When people hear the word violence, they often think of punching. Yes, that is the first thing that comes to our mind. They often think about punching, they often think about kicking, they often think about hitting, beating, stabbing, or shooting. But sexual violence doesn't have to involve any of these. Like I said, sexual violence doesn't have to involve any of these things. Sexual violence can be the cause of pressure, can be the cause of manipulation, can be the cause of deception, force, threats. So you see these things, it's not only the physical act that we see, like punching, kicking when we hear about sexual violence. No, it's not only it. So then at rape crisis, right? We use the word violence because we believe it does a good job of explaining the serious and lasting impact that non-consensus and sexual activity and act can have on victims and survivor. Of course, whenever there's a rape crisis, right, you understand that the act of violence will be portrayed here. Sexual violence is there, but that particular act of violence is being displayed because, like, you trying to take advantage of my body, you have to hold my hands, you have to slap, I have to hit back, we have to like tussle and hustle before you get hold of it, and before I can finally give you the chance to like, with nothing else is working, and then you just rape me. So you see, when it comes to sexual violence, the word violence is kind of like different from us seeing it only as kicking, slapping, and all of those things. So, however, we know that not everyone will use the word to describe what happened to them, right? Yes. So then we will go to consent. You remember I talked about Sexual violence, I say, is a term we use to describe any sexual activity that happened without consent. So someone will want to know what is consent. If you are a teenager, you are watching, or even if you are of age and you are watching, the word consent as it relates to sexual violence, consent means agreeing to something by choice or by any or having both the freedom and capacity to make the choice. So you see, consent means agreeing to something by choice. You agree to something by choice. Okay, fine. I have my boyfriend. My boyfriend said we should go to a club. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, agreeing to something by choice. I choose to do so, and having both freedom and capacity to make that choice. You not just agreeing to it by choice, but you having the freedom and capacity to make that choice. You are not being forcefully used to make that choice. You are not being forcefully mandated to make that choice. So that's where consent come in. So it is not consent if, remember, it is not consent if someone was asleep, unconscious, drunk, drug, or on drugs, and you had a sexual intercourse with them. It is not consent. You did not meet the person consent. Understand that. Don't tell me the girl is my girlfriend and XYZ, and because she's your girlfriend, you go and drug her. She's unconscious or she's asleep. You take off her clothes, you take picture of her, or you drug her, or partly give her drugs, or you give her alcoholic beverages for her to drink, and then no. It's not a consent. It's not a consent if someone was pressure, like I said there earlier, if someone was pressure, manipulated, triggered, or scared into saying yes. It's now consent. It's now consent when you pressure someone. You will in a room today. If you take off your clothes, you're not move from get alive. It's now consent. So even if the person say yes to you, it's still not a consent because the person will pressure, the person will manipulated, the person will trick or scared into saying yes. And because they have to protect their life, maybe they want to work out of that single life, they have to say yes. So you see that is it. The next thing is this is now a consent if someone was too young or vulnerable to have the freedom and capacity to make a choice. It's now a consent. It's now a consent if I'm too young and I am vulnerable to that freedom that I need and capacity to make a choice. It's now a consent. So understand that. So consent can be withdrawn at any time. Listen to this. Consent can be withdrawn at any time, especially as it relates to sexual violence. I can withdraw my consent at any time. Hello, hi, how are you doing? Fine. Can you please come over to my house today? Okay, I'll think about it. I go to my house. Okay, I'll come to your house, but I'll think about it. I go to my house and I understand the motive why this guy want me to come to his house is because he want us to have a sexual intercourse. And then I place a call and tell him no. I withdrew my consent. So that doesn't in any way give you the chance to like go ahead and have any sexual acts with me or go ahead and harass me sexually or to sexually assault me. No. So you see, consent can be withdrawn at any time, including during a sexual act. We can be here today, a girl and a boy can be in a room, and like he make amends, he want to like kiss her or something, and she said no. It's my it's me. I'm saying no to you. Let me be respected. Consent can be withdrawn at any time. You get that thing. Not like even if we are in a serious relationship. Let me say that to the people out there. If you are in a serious relationship and today you don't want to have a sexual intercourse, okay, but you with your boyfriend and he try to make that move and you say no is no. He should understand that your consent sometimes can be withdrawn, and at any time I can withdraw my consent. So the fact that I said no to you and you try to take advantage of it, that is a sexual violence. A sexual violence. Understand? It's a sexual violence. It's a sexual violence because it's a sexual activity that happened without my consent. I was in a mood first. I decided yes, and later on, while going ahead, I told you no. Is sexual violence. You did it without my consent. You took advantage of me. Understand that females understand it today. Understand this part today. Your consent can be withdrawn at any time, anywhere, at any time. I'm in a room with you and I tell you I don't want to have sex. no is no. That's my consent. So if you go ahead and do any other thing out of the way, it's a violence. And that is a sexual violence. Especially when you carry out any sexual activity. Just because someone consented to something before doesn't mean they consented to it happening. So like tomorrow I'm gonna come to your house. Okay, since you want us to meet up, we'll meet up. I'm gonna come to your house. I agree to that. That was yesterday. Today I come to your house. I said no. I don't want to have a sexual intercourse with you. That's just it. That doesn't mean that because I consented to it, it can't happen again. No, no. Get that straight when it relates to sexual violence. Females, males, get that straight. Females know where you're standing when it comes to your consent. I consent to have sex with you today. I consent not to have sex with you anymore. That's your consent. That's your sexual consent. So if it is being violated in any sexual activity, that becomes a sexual violence. My consent can be withdrawn at any time. I have a consent to my body. I agree. I'm going to expose my body. I'm going to do a new video today. If tomorrow comes, or I agree, I'm going to do a new video tomorrow. If tomorrow comes and I decide not to do a new video, it's my consent. I withdraw for that. So the fact that I withdraw my consent, I should be respectful of that. If for any reason I'm being forced, I'm being pressured, I'm being manipulated, that becomes a sexual violence. Yes. That becomes a sexual violence. Your consent can be withdrawn at any time, anywhere. Take advantage of this today. Learn it today. Your consent can be withdrawn at any time and anywhere. Yes. So who is affected by sexual violence? Someone will want to ask, who is affected by sexual violence? Anyone can experience sexual violence. Yes, of course. Anyone can experience sexual violence. I'm not only talking about the males. I'm not only talking about the females. I'm talking about the males too as well. A male can be sexually violated, and a female can be sexually violated as well. So I mean, anyone can face the experience of sexual violence. Anyone. So it happens to people of all ages. Please understand this. A baby born today can be sexually abused. Yes. So it happens to people of all ages, backgrounds, cultures, sexualities, your faith, your ethnicities. Yes, it happens. So do not say I'm from Lofa. Nobody can rape me. Somebody can rape you. The fact that after that rape you go and play medicine, that's it. But it can happen. Anyone can experience sexual violence. Anyone can experience sexual violence. Anyone can experience sexual violence. So this includes also other people. This includes other people. This include LGBT. This include people and disabled people. So LGBT, you already know that is a lesbian area, and I mean, yes, it happens to people of all ages. It happens to people from different backgrounds, cultures, and everything. So research shows that most victims and survivors of sexual violence are women and girls. And sometimes the most perpetrators are male. So most of the times you see these things happening in sexual violence crisis, you see that most of the times those who are affected most by these things are females. You see females being abused on a maximum level. You see females being abused on a maximum level, and see who serve as the perpetrators behind these things is the male. You see, even sometimes male we sexually we have a sexual activity or we sexually abuse a male. You'll see male sexually abusing or boy who is a man. So you see most of the time the perpetrators are male. So when before these things happen, understand, you have to understand a few things. Like I talked about your consent, I'm telling you that research has shown that most of the time, most of the victims and survivors of sexual violence are women. Women and girls. Women and girls are being faced with these crises. And today I was like talking before coming on air, and then my colleague told me that why always you guys are talking about these things and they keep happening. Yes, they keep happening because we females are not taking up the stand we should take. Because you see, why we should always be victimized by these things? Why we should always live our life with these stigmas? Why we should always live our life being depressed by these things? Because we are not stepping up. We are not breaking the silence for these things. We are not taking a rightful action we should be taking. Yes, we're not taking a rightful action we should be taking. You walk on a road for the first time. For some of us who like to pass in corner or places that you don't find people really passing, we have our reason of passing there. And then all of a sudden you notice this day that you was passing the evening and you feel someone is tracking you. Why in the world pass the road again at that particular time when you know someone is stalking you? Why? And stalking falls under sexual harassment. Why you should even pass that rule? No, don't do that. Because I mean we should take prevention before these things happen. So like I said before, you can be sexually harassed, or before you can be sexually abused, or before you can be raped, there are symptoms and there are certain things that happen before the bigger picture occurs. So you see, like sexual harassment, it starts from that lower level before it increase to a higher level. So you have to step up your game. You have to break the silence about it. So, however, men and boys can also experience sexual violence. Yes, men and boys can also experience sexual violence. You know now the time we are in, things of such are happening now. Ever since looking at our culture as African nations, or as African country, these things never used to happen. You used to see females, yes, but in the cases of females, it used to be at that level. But now you see men are raping boys. Men are raping boys. Boys are raping boys. And you even see teenagers are being involved into these sexual acts. So yes. So why does sexual violence happen? Well, violence have different ideas, and people have different ideas why sexual violence happen. But researchers have different ideas about why people perpetrate sexual violence. Yes. But whatever the reason or motive, there is never any excuse or justification why, or there's no justification or excuse for sexual abuse, for rape, for sexual assault. No, there is no important reason. No, there is no important reason. There is no excuse. There is no justification like why you raped the girl. I'll honor the influence of alcohol. There's no excuse. There's no guarantee excuse. There's no justification for why a person should be sexually abused. There's no excuse for why a child should be sexually abused. There's no excuse for why a 40-year-old man should rape a 9-month-old baby. There's no excuse for it. It doesn't make sense. Try to think about this. It doesn't make sense. Why should people be sexually abused? Why should a child be sexually abused? There's no justification. What is the justification you give? Is it ritualistic? Is that how you want me to understand? No. I feel there is no justification. There's no even a better excuse for that. There's no better excuse that because I wore a clothes that I feel comfortable wearing, and all because you feel intimidated by it, you sexually harass me and you rape me. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So if you are in my comment section, does that even make sense? No, it does not make sense. It does not in no way make sense. So I'm gonna notify my viewer again. I'm following from Iron Factory, Safa Jim. Safa, thanks for following. And Kelly, don't over ask a question. What is responsible for sexual harassment and sexual abuse? So we're gonna come to that point. But today, basically, we are looking at sexual violence, and I'm gonna answer your question before we close up. So yeah. If you have been through any kind of sexual violence, please show that it was not your fault. Yes, let me tell you, if you have been faced with any sexual violence, that includes, we talk about the types of sexual violence, we talk about child sexual abuse, we talk about sexual harassment, we talk about rape, we talk about sexual assault. If you have been faced with any of these things, please know that it was not your fault. Especially if you are the victim, it was not your fault. And it doesn't matter how long ago it happened, where you are, what you are doing, or what you were wearing, or whether you were drunk or had taken drugs. You are in no way to blame. Yes, you are in no way to be blamed because you wore clothes. You are in no way to be blamed because you put a waist piece on your waist. You are in no way to be blamed because you look sexy. You are in no way to blame because you dress modestly and you have confidence in your clothes that you wore. You are in no way to be blamed because you were drunk. No, you are in no way to be blamed. The fact that you got drunk, that doesn't mean somebody should take advantage of you. So it doesn't matter when it happened. If you have been sexually violated before, if you had sexual um occurrence before, and sexual violence partly it led to you being sexually abused, you being sexually harassed, you being sexually assaulted, you are in no way to blame. Please get that straight. And I want you to understand that it doesn't matter how long ago it happened. It doesn't matter whether it happened 10 years back, you have a child now because of it. You are in no way to be blamed. Do not ever blame yourself because of it. You are not to be blamed. The perpetrators who committed their acts are the ones to be blamed. Please. You are in no way to be blamed. So what is responsible for sexual harassment? Like I would say, what is responsible for sexual harassment, and I'll keep saying this as it relates to sexual violence, there's no better justification or there's no excuse why someone should be sexually abused or someone should be sexually violated. There's no excuse for that. So what is responsible for sexual harassment will be talking about before we end the show. So if you have other questions within your comment section, you can just leave your comments there and I will appreciate you. Kaylin, don't so bad. Thanks for following. Your question will be answered. So we'll just take a short break. When we get back, I will just drop your questions in the comment section. Whatever question you feel you have to ask, just drop your question in the comment section as it relates to sexual violence, and I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to answer all of your questions. You can ask questions as it relates to consent. Remember, any sexual activity should meet your consent. If you does not agree, and it happened, that is a form of violence, and that is sexual violence. So your consent, meaning your yes or no, can be withdrawn anytime as it relates to any sexual activity. You can agree today and tomorrow you say no, it should be no, and it should be respected. If it goes beyond that and the person say, but you tell me yes yesterday, then you can't say no today, I won't lie, you don't feel for it. You get it right. You have to write your consent. Your consent can be withdrawn at any time. Anytime. If you say tomorrow I will do this, and tomorrow you decide not to do it, maybe because you're sick or something, and all of a sudden the person still force it and they carry on a sexual activity, that is a sexual violence. It did not meet my consent. I said yes yesterday, and today I'm saying no, and you took advantage of me. That is a sexual violence. If you want to debate about it, next time we will talk about it in depth. But that is a sexual violence. Remember, sexual violence does not only relate to child sexual abuse. There are certain things that follow. And I told you about all of these various online platforms. It helps you. You sometimes face sexual violence due to pressure, due to manipulation, bullying, due to intimidation, due to threats, deception, and force. So we take a short break. When we get back, folks, I'll fill you in and I'll answer all of the questions. Just drop your question in the comment section and I'll be here to answer you. But until then, I am your host, Greg Finansipa, saying have a release night to you and enjoy yourself. Please stay with me. I will be right back to answer all of the questions. Just drop your question in the comment section, or you could partly say something as it relates to sexual violence. Our topic for today is sexual violence. And of course, I am your host, Greg Finansipa. For this show, Kwame Courage. Yes, Kwame Courage.
About you, but I'm always feeling good when it comes to conversation relating to women. So So every Wednesday, we air out our women conversation on the Focal Women Talk. And of course, I am your presenter and your host, Craig Finan Courage Pa. I love to be called Courage. I'm encouraging you, so please join this platform on Focal Online TV, where we discuss issues concerning women. We talk about health issues, we talk about career issues, we talk about those challenging things we face in our daily lives as women. Please do not be deterred because you are not a woman at a particular age. Be reminded you can be a girl, you can be a teenager, you can be a woman, and you can still join this conversation. Please join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. where I drill you through with an interesting conversation relating to us women. So please stay with me on Focal Online TV, where we bring you innovation to broadcasting. Thanks for watching. I am your host, Craig Financy Pa, saying have a blessed day.
So yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the Focal Women Talk here on Focal Online TV. This is the room. This is a place where we bring innovation to broadcasting. Remember, Focal TV is located within the Topo Village community along the Japanese Highway. And today I am your host on the Focal Women Talk here on Focal Online TV. This show is being run every Wednesday from 1 p.m. Sorry, to 2 p.m. So please stay with me as I'll be answering all of the questions within the comment sections right now. So we had a question from Kelly Nunsoba. What is responsible for sexual harassment and sexual abuse? Like I stated, and I will continue to say, there's no better justification. There's nothing that is responsible for sexual harassment. And someone will say it's the person sexual quest or it's the person's sexual desire. They are more they have this sexual tendency, they have this sexual feeling. But regardless of those things, there is nothing responsible for sexual harassment and sexual abuse. Partly, unless you have some biological problem that needs to be looked at or that needs to be diagnosed by doctors. But anyone who sexually harasses someone at work is responsible for their own actions. So I mean, there's nothing, absolutely nothing that is responsible for sexual harassment. And then employers sometimes can be responsible too. And this is called vicarious liability. So I think sometimes if it happens in a workplace, employers are responsible because like another thing again, I feel I shouldn't say this. This is now a defense. I shouldn't say this. But sometimes people don't understand these things. Yes, I should say that. People don't understand these things and they carry on these acts. So lack of knowledge too sometimes plays a major role, is responsible for all of these actions. Lack of knowledge, like you don't know what you are doing. You see, yes, some men don't know what they are doing. You just see a woman, you say, especially these boys who sell in the wheelbarrows, these boys who are selling, they are younger boys, they are selling in the street. You see some of them, they just the market, the girls who sell, the ocean girls who sell in the market. You see some of them, they just have that joking relationship. They call it joking, right? Wherein they get passing, they just hit her behind, or they get passing, they just touch her breast. And all of these things, some of them are doing it because they don't know. They don't know that this thing you are doing is sexual harassment or this thing you are doing is sexual abuse. They do it out of ignorance. I should say that. But it's now a defense. So there's nothing that is responsible for sexual harassment or sexual abuse. There's nothing. Partly is your desire. You desire to have multiple women and you don't have it at that time. You want to take advantage of someone. But it doesn't make sense. There's no justification. There's no excuse for it. So Kelly, there's no excuse for someone sexually abusing someone or someone sexually harassing someone. So I mean, find a friend like me, a friend that will keep you informed about all of these things, all of the happening around you, all of the things you need to know. And I can be your bestie anyway. So my name is Delphina Courage Point, and I appreciate all of the viewers that was watching today. We had the numbers increased, our commenters were many, and we appreciate you. Just to go over that again, I will call on the names. April Theodore Pa, CC Prince, he's watching. Dexy Noboryadon is watching as well. Thanks for watching. Grace Fatty Hale is watching. Kielina Tupa, he was following, and my camera Emmanuel George watching from Tinga Village. Kielina Tupa again. My camera George watching from Tinga Village. Kielina Tupa and Safa Jim Safa. So we say thanks to all of you who watched this important program today as it relates to sexual violence. Before I leave you, remember that sexual violence is a term we use to describe any sexual activity that happen without consent. So sexual violence is any sexual activity, any act that is done sexually without someone consent. Any act that happened without someone consent. You take my picture, I'm sleeping, I'm naked, or I'm drunk, you naked me, you take my picture, it's a sexual act. And if it happened without my consent, that is a sexual violence. If I violated, yes. And then another thing again, you have to understand there are certain things that involve with sexual violence. And I told you one of the biggest platform nowadays that really pushes the act of sexual violence is the platform of social media. So you have it pushes in what way? So one of the following are stated: pressure, manipulation, bullying, intimidation. People get intimidated, they do things that they shouldn't be doing. People being threatened, they do things they shouldn't be doing. Deception, yes, deception plays a major role. Force, all of these things. So there are different types of sexual violence. Get it straight: child sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment, rape. All of these things are sexual violence. Get it today. You say sexual violence, I only rape. No, sexual violence involve child sexual abuse, sexual assault, sexual harassment. So if you harass someone sexually, it's a sexual violence, and you can be taken to law by that. So why the word violence? The word violence is used because most often we think that when we talk about sexual violence, it's about tying someone, it's about punching someone, kicking someone to have sexual intercourse with them. But no, it's beyond that. It's beyond that. Sexual violence doesn't have to involve all of these things. Yes, sexual violence doesn't have to involve all of these things. Sometimes sexual violence involve manipulation, pressure, deception, force. Yes, sometimes they involve force, sometimes they involve pressure, sometimes they involve intimidation. Yes, intimidated me. Yes, involve that. So yeah, and the major thing I want you to capture from this thing is consent. Consent. I consented to the letter. When you consent to something, it means you agree to something by choice. So yeah. So this particular aspect of sexual violence, consent means agreeing to something by choice and having both the freedom and capacity to make that choice. So it is not consent. It is not your consent if someone was asleep, unconscious, drunk, or on drugs, and the person was taking advantage. It's not consent. I didn't consent to that. I'm drunk. How did I consent to that? You're said to be under the influence of alcohol, and I say yes, and you believe it. That is not consent. Understand that it's not consent when someone is pressured or manipulated or triggered or scared into saying yes. You scare me. Take out your clothes. If you take out your clothes, I will choke you with it nephew. You scare me. I have to put my life. I'll have to do the needful. So yes, it's not consent. I didn't consent to it. I did it because I was scared, I was manipulated, I was pressured. That is not consent. Someone was too young or vulnerable to have freedom and capacity. That is not also consent. So who is affected by sexual violence? I said to you, anyone can experience sexual violence. Anyone. And it does not stigmatize only to just background, ethnicity, sexualities, faith. No, it goes beyond that. Children, older people, LGBT people, and disabled people. Yes. Why does sexual violence happen? Sexual violence happen for no good reason. There's no excuse. There's no justification why a sexual or a person can be abused sexually. So someone will ask, why it happened? Why he had to rape me? No excuse, mama. Even if you ask him, he will not give you no relevant excuse. There's no excuse that is important why he raped you. There's no justification. Because I just walked on the road, I was coming back, he jumped on me, he raped me. No excuse. No excuse for being sexually abused, for being sexually violated. No excuse. So yes, this is our close up. Thanks for today. I appreciate all of my viewers. I love you, and I'm excited that we had to share this moment where we will share our thoughts on sexual violence. Thanks for watching. My name is Greg Finan Karashpa, and I'm saying to you today, happy ladies night to you. I know you'll be going out. If you don't want to, I'm encouraging you to step out of your comfort zone. Enjoy yourself today, please. I love you, and I appreciate the time, the energy you put in being on the show. I hope you are taking something from these lectures we bring every Wednesday. So I'm hoping that we can have a doctor here in studio, we can have a nurse in studio, and we'll be talking about the different forms and the different type of contraceptives, how can it be used. So yeah, thank you so much, and I love you. My name is Courage, and I'm saying, find a friend like me. Happy Wednesday to you, females. Happy Wednesday to you. Today is Ladies' Night. Happy Ladies' Night to you. I'm hoping that you can enjoy yourself. My name is Greg Finansipa. This is how I wrap up the show. And the topic for today is sexual violence. Next time, if you are watching the show, you can state your question, or better still, you can give your comments as it relates to our topic for today. Other than that, I love you. My name is Rekina Karishpa. I am your host on the Focal Women Talk here on Focal Online TV. Thanks for watching. I love you, and I'm trapping this song just for you.
Lump.
Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. If you not want betrayal, find a friend like me.
Bombay, oh, find a friend like me. Bombay, Jenny, oh, find a friend like me. Find a friend like me. Find a friend like me.
Hey, see bestie, the bestie not sweet like my bestie. The bestie da la bestie. Find a friend like me.
I say, see bestie wanting to wealthy. Find a friend like me. I hear them say they want me go. I say,
Some of them say they want me go.
I say,
Some French la oh ah oh. Some French la oh ah oh. Some French la oh ah oh. French la oh ah oh. Hey, see bestie, the bestie not sweet like my bestie. The bestie da la bestie. Find a friend like me.
I say, see bestie wanting to wealthy. Find a friend like me. They won't step on my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah. They won't call it my blessing, but God get it breaking, yeah.
French, see French, can't see Papa T French. And I want no back for French. Wango for bestie, wango for daddy,
I hear them say they want me go. I say, I hear them say they want me go. I say,
Some French la oh ah oh. Some French la oh bestie, la bestie. Find a friend like me.
I don't know about you, but I'm always feeling good when it comes to conversation relating to women. So every Wednesday, we air out our women conversation on the Focal Women Talk. And of course, I am your presenter and your host, Craig Finan Courage Pa. I love to be called Courage. I'm encouraging you to please join this platform on Focal Online TV, where we discuss issues concerning women. We talk about health issues, we talk about career issues, we talk about those challenging things we face in our daily lives as women. Please do not be deterred because you are not a woman at a particular age. Be reminded you can be a girl, you can be a teenager, you can be a woman, and you can still join this conversation. Please join me every Wednesday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. where I drill you through with an interesting conversation relating to us women. So please stay with me on Focal